So I was going to do this really cool video about how to turn on our road, and I forgot. But here is a really cool video. You will know that you are on the correct road. See, we're at the very top of the mountain. I don't know if you can see. We're at the very top of the mountain, okay? So this is Kato's place, and I love that he keeps this so neat and clean and mowed. And I really like his entry too. And he was so smart. My husband wouldn't let me do this, but see how he put that gate? Don't even see this. Watch. That's a gate. And I wanted one too. Anyway, my husband moves to heaven before me. I'll get one. So, on this dirt road, we're only half a mile down. You know you're on the right dirt road when you see this very interesting, yes, someone actually lives there. I know that you may not believe that, but it is true. They have not taken their air conditioners out of their windows, so I'm sure they are freezing, because they have not taken their air conditioners out of their metal tin box. Yes, someone actually lives there, and her mother or grandmother lived there in the 80s, early 80s, when Tim and I lived down here. Yes, I'm so sorry. Oh, you know, just thinking about people and their choices. That's Kato's house. He's a really cool guy. Kato Ramirez. Oh, so you think that shack was bad? Wait till we get up to the next shack, okay? Now these people, I should move my mask. Here, just a minute. Let me unplug my... Okay, there we go. My little horsey. My little horsey in the window. So these people were my husband's, their children were my husband's age. So my husband actually went to school with these interesting people. This first building, hey, maybe I can find some old barn wood there. I should ask them for some old wood. I'm trying to build something. That would be just perfect. They lived in that. Now that one's torn down. Now, wait till you see this next one. There's no indoor plumbing. And yes, someone lives in this. Someone lives in this, okay? He's my husband's age. So he grew up here. He was born and he grew up here. He lives in there. No indoor plumbing. And then this next house was one of the children that grew up, and he pulled a trailer house in there. He's really relatively normal. And he's my husband's age, and I really like him. Now this used to be the NFO cattle pens, and then they took the cattle pens out of there. These are cool people. I think they're from California, and they put brick around a double wide, which is kind of a waste of brick. But anyway, really neat people. Now this, on the left, started my husband's family's property in the 60s when this was nothing but a wagon trail through this wasn't a road per se as much as it was a field. This was a field. So all this property was my husband's family's property. And actually this little house is where he was born into. He wasn't born there. He actually was born at the hospital. Now this piece of property was still part of the NFO cattle pens, Cattlemen's Association. And this piece of property is a lovely piece of property, but Fred Calvert owned this. Tim's dad never owned this, although it is a lovely, lovely piece of property. And it was just a cow pasture, and then someone sold it and built a beautiful home over there. I've been in that home. It's beautiful. Now the next pasture that you're seeing there, that was my husband's family's property. So all of this we had cattle. Actually, we had young weaning heifers up here is what we kept up here, or springing heifers, which was young heifers having their first calf. Buddy built that building. That building wasn't there. Now this was the little dinky house that my husband lived in, which what you see, this was the house, and there was no bathroom in it. My husband remembers having no bathroom. This was built on, and they built on a room and a bathroom. Anyway, my dear friend from childhood, who is my age, lives there, and her daughter actually helps Tim with the Pomskis. So where Arena built that house, that was my husband's family's property, because we had 300 head of cattle, something around there. A big old Holsteins, shipped in alfalfa from up north, and semi-truckloads of hay. And this was one of the first pieces of property when they got out of the dairy business that they sold, and I would love to have that back. That is a beautiful Bermuda field. We're very good friends with the people that bought it, and their son married Arena, and they built that beautiful house back there. They have two precious little girls. So this is, now they still own this. Granny and Pa still own this, and we run cattle over there. As you can see, their house, I don't know if you can see their house right there. So when I go down and I say I'm at Granny's, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, right there. So this used to just be full of cattle eating. Glenn built that barn right there. That barn was not there when we owned that property. This is the start of our property here, and Tim did not feed my horses. It's okay, I'll do it. That was the old milk barn. I know it doesn't look that big, but we ran 120 something head of cattle through it twice a day. 3:30 in the morning, got up at 3, went to work at 3:30. That was the old smokehouse. That's my horse, and Emmy's horse, and Lily's horse is here. So when I tell people, you know you're here when you get to the cow farm. I live on a cow farm. I had someone drive down from, I don't know where, way up north, and they said, do you have cattle? Yeah. Yeah, you think if you step out of your car, you might step in a cow turd. Yes. Yes, we have cattle. Anyway, I don't know if you can see the baby calves up there aggravating. See them up there aggravating the dogs. There's some more. That's a cutter to cut hay. That is what we call the Sprawls house. That's an old house. Oh, look, I got hay. My help put hay out there. There's Joe and I, a wonderful, precious neighbor. We adore our neighbors. We have the most wonderful neighbors. So as far as you can see there, that's Granny and Pa's. They kept 70-something acres over there. And we thought we were buying 40 when we bought this, but it just panned out to be 33. Now that far field, I think I must have a smear. And that red barn, that was never ours. That far field and that red barn. There's 400-something acres over there I'd love to own. Anyway, so you know you're here when you get to the old milk barn. I know, it looks so humble. Trust me, I have lived in that barn. Actually, when we moved over in August, Tim had an RV back there, and I couldn't sleep in the RV. I mean, I tried for several nights. I was getting no sleep, like zero. And because every time he wiggled, it would shake the whole RV and it'd wake me up. And so the third day, I almost ran into this fence because I got out of my vehicle and my mind was so numb. I thought I had put it in park and I hadn't, and it really scared me. So I started sleeping in my van. I slept in my van from August to October until I had a litter of puppies, and then I moved my mattress into the tank room and I slept on the floor for a year. And so now I bought a couch and put a couch in there, and now sleep on a couch, and I am happy to be off the floor, and I am so grateful for my little couch when I go to lay down at night. I am so happy to have some place to lay my head that is dry, it does not leak, and it is warm, so we can always be grateful. So I think it's interesting. You see my little Johnny on the spot. When I tell people I have not had a flushing toilet in 2.5 years, they don't believe me, but it's true. Now we do out at the house, but I don't live there. Tim moved out there in May, I think. April, May, something like that. into the kennel. And now we're far enough along, we've got the sheetrock up, that he's in his bedroom. And I was out there with him last night. It is nice. I mean, it's a very good feel about the home, very peaceful, very southern, like sipping tea on the front porch in the summer. That's kind of the feel of the house, right? Anyway, you know you're here if you come to see me when you get to this old white milk barn. In fact, Granny left this sign on the milk barn that says, I put that, it says Bull Mastiff Place, but if you see this sign, it says Dairy Farm, Worley Farms.